In here now. Look at that. Hi, folks. I'm Clyde Beef Moon. Good to be with you. Filling in for Pugs today on the Pugs and Parker with a little bit of E show. Hey, it's Parker. Why is
With
Parker?
a little bit of E, it makes it sound like we're doing drugs.
Why are you so small? Why is it a little bit of James? What's going on
because you
there?
got to do this or this.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, that'll work. We do this show every Monday through Thursday, noon until 9 until whenever. That's the noon show. I do a show Monday through Friday, noon to whenever. This is myself. Hi, Clyde Beef Moon, filling in for Pugs Moran. He's how we do it. How we do it. Filling in for James Parker, and over here we got E the artist.
Howdy, howdy. God, is it so dark you don't need sunglasses even indoors? What is going on? No, I don't
need them. Now I need them. Let me turn on that.
Now that I said something.
That's what I forgot.
Self-aware.
Oh.
Why's he got like 50% of the screen? That's what I want to know.
Well, it's probably because my background of 105.3 is so large.
Yeah, that could be it. All right. How are you, boys? It's the first Monday after a long weekend. Did we all have a good time this weekend? What did we do? James, you're on the clock.
It's my birthday, you bastards.
When is your birthday?
Today, like literally today, right now. This is my birthday, May 8th.
Well, happy birthday.
Party. Let's go. But play some music or something. And listen, my preferred birthday song is not Happy Birthday. It's not the Beatles. They say it's your birthday. It's the Two Live Crew birthday song.
Okay. So do you have that in your
I'm not allowed
inventory?
to play music because it comes across not perfect audio fidelity whenever I play it. So no, I do not have it at our disposal. However, it is easily found on YouTube, so I can pull it up and maybe play it through a different window. But
who told you to play the music because of poor quality?
I don't think we need to do that. But happy birthday, James. See, if I had only dedicated myself just a little bit of time today to Facebook, I would probably know that it's your birthday. That is really that's the last redeeming feature of Facebook, that you can go there and you can never miss your friend's birthday. Because if you just check every day, they'll tell you everybody's birthday. I'm sorry, I did not go to Facebook today. Otherwise, I would know. But happy birthday.
Thank you very much. It's a very important day in the life of me and basically nobody else.
It's the second biggest day of your mom's life. Just assuming she likes your sister more.
She does.
Yeah.
Have you looked up things that have happened on this day?
Yeah. So the one interesting piece of trivia that surrounds my birthday is it's great for the purposes of World History Test because May 8th is VE Day, Victory in Europe Day. So May 8th. And my sister's birthday, I only have one sibling. She's 2 years older than me. And her birthday is August 14th, which is VJ Day.
Which is?
Victory over Japan Day. That was the day Japan surrendered in World War II. So I was born on the day Germany surrendered. She was born on the day Japan surrendered. And it's just...
Well, James, every day on the noon show, I like to go through the events of the day and celebrate some of the birthdays. And I just happen to have a cool-ass list right here of other things that share your birthday. For instance, did you know that on this day in 1429, Joan of Arc lifts the siege of Orleans?
Overrated. The real hero of the Battle of Orleans has been erased from the history books because they found out a few years later that he was raping children. And he kept like pieces of their corpse in an extra room in his castle where they had like this rudimentary version of formaldehyde, and he kept different body parts of the kids that he had raped and murdered. He'd usually get orphans off the street, street urchins.
People are complicated. The hero of Orleans was also a terrible child predator.
Right. And so they had to go back, and after the fact, they rewrote this whole Joan of Arc crap because she had only been there like a couple days. Like the siege of Orleans had been there for a month, and when I say a couple days, it was like 2 weeks.
No, 9 days.
What it was?
Yeah. Here's what I love about where you're going with this story. This sort of mirrors, although I don't have the pedophile angle, I don't really know about that guy, but I have always believed that Joan of Arc was an absolute Not victim, somebody who benefited from happenstance. Okay, she was batshit crazy. She was a 17-year-old farm girl who convinced somebody in her town that she could talk to God. Just so happened that King Charles the Sixth or whatever, whoever he was, that dude was also batshit crazy, and he was looking for somebody and had a dream about somebody who could talk to God. He heard about this girl, and all of a sudden, he makes her like the general of all of his armies. You're right. The Battle of New Orleans had been going, or the Siege of Orleans. The English had.
So
Hold on. The English had laid siege to that town for a month. They were leaving anyway. They were getting. She shows up. She's there for 9 days. The British were already planning on retreating and heading back because, it's just a siege. It's over. We won. Tap out, uncle, that whole thing. But she was given credit because they just happened to be done with the siege anyway. And the crazy king thought that, well, that's God. Now, the thing that she did do, James, is she pursued the British and she butchered them. And that was like something only a crazy person would do. So after that, the king's like, she's my general. And what happens? The next two campaigns, they fail miserably. She's captured by the British. She's tortured. You're right. Joan of Arc is a complete fraud, James. I agree.
Good. I'm so tired of getting pushback on so many. Because I don't know. I just feel like there's no excuse in the age of Google to ever just get something wrong and feel strongly about it.
Well, the thing is that she's the patron saint of France, and she's beloved, and all of this kind of stuff. But she's a fraud. She was a crazy person. E, you were trying to get in. E, what did you want to say?
was she hot?
Nah, Joan of Arc probably not, dude. She's probably no. I'm sure that she was. Did they have trans back then? Because I imagine, she carried herself as a boy and all of that stuff were other attributes that were ascribed to her.
Well, what is the theory that anyone who comes from the lower class of peasant society anywhere before about 60 years ago would be undateable to Amel?
Yeah, I'm thinking anyone before 1960 would be undateable for Amel.
From the peasant class? Oh, you could probably scoot that back a few more years, but you're maybe. That's a good 1960.
Why are we going there?
Well,
I just asked if she was hot. I didn't make a comparison.
Bro, I have never seen you with an 8.9.
It sounded to me, this part where she started getting all this control over the king, at least the king gave her, all this power. That sounds to me like she might have been hot. That you see a lot of guys that they find a really hot girl, and all of a sudden you're like, how did she get that position?
She was a general. She was a warrior. She was not hot. She was she was like a little dude.
Yeah, but aren't you going to be impressed if you find a woman that's like, a general, and you're all into that war thing, and you're a king?
Well, no. The thing is, they were.
Isn't that kind of the reverse? Kind of like cool.
The thing is, they were both religiously mad. They were both crazy people who had fallen so deep into that they thought they were having these conversations with God. So even though everybody else dismissed Joan of Arc as being there's something wrong with her, she got kicked in the head by a mule, everybody else did that. The king didn't. The one guy who can totally make her something that she shouldn't be was the one guy who was like, no, I think she's making kind of sense. And he made her the general of all of her armies, or all of his armies. And they immediately lost two of the biggest and bloodiest campaigns of that war. And that led to her capture and her persecution by the British. Yeah, E.
To the chat room, Leslie saying nobody was hot back then. I disagree. There were hotties.
No, it's few and far between, bro. Like, maybe.
Cleopatra?
She was not hot. Was not hot. Not by today's standards.
She was portrayed to be hot.
Well, of course, because you can't put an ugly woman in a movie. So you got to make her. She was beautiful for her time, but the standards were different.
Yeah, first thing you have to understand is that I've gone in through, I'm not a real historian, like I don't speak ancient Greek or whatever, but I've gone into some pretty deep dives over, anthropology. And one thing I've learned is that from examining skull after skull after skull over thousands of years is that no one over the age of 24 has a perfect set of teeth. And we just take that for granted. So the number one thing you have to accept that is even if Joan of Arc was hot or Marie Antoinette was hot, by the time they're 24, they look like they've been chewing rocks. Or by the time they're 30.
The most desirable woman in all of Rome probably had teeth that smelled of rot.
Well, she's probably missing like one on the top, like right here in the front.
And that was okay. They were okay with that. They were like, hey, this is what we're used to.
Everybody, like they have dental records from the King of England and the King of France going back, and like there was even in the Netflix show Versailles where they were showing Louis XIV getting one of his teeth pulled, and you can go back and you can read that they actually have dental records on these dudes, and we know that they were missing a ton of teeth. We know George Washington.
Well, they don't even really show them kissing. You don't see them kissing, so maybe kissing wasn't a thing back then.
I have no comment.
I don't know. I assume kissing has always been a thing. Seems like a natural. Hey, James.
I don't. If you got stinky, soft, smelly teeth,
I think people.
and you're mashing that together.
I think as animals, we probably rub noses. I think kissing is some sort of humanoid extension of that. I don't know.
I disagree.
You think we're going to stop kissing? Do you think
when was kissing invented? Let's see if we could Google that.
It's called chasing rabbits. Yes, James, you're trying to take control, and I recognize that. Go.
All right. So, is anyone interested in what I got for my birthday?
Yes, I am very interested in what James got for his birthday, ladies.
No, we can't see that. Get your wife out of the screen.
Exciting.
I got a new office chair.
Nice.
Oh,
look at that.
I was afraid he was going to show me a pair of knee pads.
How wonderful. How wonderful.
My wife did not get me a present. However, she made up for it because when she went jogging a couple days ago, there was a garage sale in our neighborhood, and they were selling a ping pong table for $30. So I got a new ping pong table.
Nice.
Awesome.
Oh, and it's not like some old busted up one. It looks like they bought it, and they're like, I guess we thought we were going to play ping pong. We never did. It looks new, so that was nice.
Hey, who got you the chair? Like everybody in your family? Like, is that from all the kids? They all chipped in?
My kids are worthless, dude.
Yeah.
My mom and dad.
Oh, very nice. Okay, very nice.
Is there a reason it's green?
No. It's black. It's just a funky thing with the can.
I look green.
I can. It kind of did. No, like this is a black shirt.
Kinda.
This is a black shirt I'm wearing. And it looks
move
kinda
on.
green.
Yeah, just move on.
All right, and then I had to get myself a new gun. See, check this out. It's a 9mm Smith & Wesson. Right. So it's got the little fat clip that holds 13 in it. Mm-hmm. And no, it's not that I didn't already have a gun that was about this size, but I didn't give my gun to the Aryan Princess, but I may or may not have left it on Dell's coffee table. And if she picked it up by accident, thinking the case was for something else, then that's accidents will happen. But until she can properly return it to me, because we live so far away and she has car trouble.
All right, stop. So you won, Mr. Responsible Gun Owner. You have lost a firearm. You have misplaced a firearm.
No.
Mr. Responsible Second Amendment Gun Owner. You've lost your firearm.
I know where it's at. Luckily, my friend.
You know where it's at.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good. So it's not lost. So you know where it's at. And you know that it is in the hands of the Aryan Princess?
Yeah, I think she picked up that case by mistake, thinking that it was something else. And the problem is
what else could it be?
Bag of drugs.
No, it could have been a day planner in there. It could have been a Palm Pilot.
Bunch of swastika badges.
It was in a zipped case. It could have been a CD buddy. It could have had some.
Well, why would she pick that case up?
Just a mistake. We're friends. We've been friends.
When was the last time you saw her? When was the last time you saw? When did this happen?
When I think it was when I came and hung out with you.
Oh my God!
And Dell had the gout.
Picked up the phone and said, "James, crazy! I got your gun." So it's been weeks, and she hasn't contacted you.
Oh no! We've been in contact because the next day I was
She told you I have. She said I got your gun.
Look, dude.
No, James, this is really shady shit going on right here. You have talked to her. She has not said to you, "Oh, hey, by the way, I got your gun. I'm keeping it safe."
No.
Dude. Just think hypothetically, if you had a friend that was on an Aryan Brotherhood hit list for life,
Right.
and was not in possession of a method by which she could defend herself, would you or would you not think about letting her borrow one of your guns?
Well,
until she can
now
get-
this is different. Now you're saying you let her borrow it. Okay.
No,
Okay.
No,
Yes.
no, I didn't say I let her borrow it. I'm just saying hypothetically, if you had a friend in a similar situation, what would you do?
Okay.
Right, E?
Okay. I get
How
it.
the lawyers need me to say it?
I would do exactly opposite of what you've done. I would talk to her and go, "Hey, did you pick up a case? Did you find my gun in it?" "Yeah, I did, James." "Okay, well, I'd like you to have it because I don't like the crap that's going on with the Aryan Brotherhood. So I feel safer that you're in possession of my gun to defend yourself." I would have cleared the air the first time I talked to her after I thought I left it in a bag on a coffee table at a party the night before.
Okay, but there have been other people in similar situations who have told similar stories, and it turns out they didn't really actually accidentally leave a bag on there. This is just a story they were telling to absolve themselves of the felony they are committing by giving a known person with, some other criminal histories access to a firearm.
I've heard enough. We can move on.
Thank
We
you.
can move on to another subject. Great gun, though, that he got for his birthday.
What?
Nice little replacement piece there. That is awesome. Good for him.
The Aryan princess all of a sudden turned into Mother Teresa.
Moving on. Excuse me. So, James, I'll have you know that I was a couple of minutes late getting behind the mic here today for the start of this show.
And don't they let us know it?
Well, and that's because I fell into, are you ready for this? I fell into a Charo hole. That's right, Charo, a woman that we talked about last night on Sundays with Sterling, the show that James co-hosts and hosts from time to time.
Sterling on Sunday,
yes. By the way, thank you. For some reason, I got banned from YouTube because of it. I got a YouTube alert because of something having to do with that.
I've already had my entire YouTube channel wiped before.
No, it's just like they said something, I don't know, copyright infringement. I'm like, I didn't play nothing. Anyway. I get what it is. It's because you guys probably on your end played some music that, as regional.
Yep.
Yeah.
Copyright flag.
Not a big deal. Where was I? What was I saying?
We were Sterling on Sunday, and we invented the game Charo or Your Mom.
Charo or your mom. James was talking about how hot Charo was. And Charo was a performer from the 1970s. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I never really thought she was all that hot. I just don't really think about her that way. Actually, I've never thought about her at all. So I pulled her up in 2023, and I'm like, oh, my God. It's 2023, but she's still Charo. She's still wearing the same hair, and she's got the same outfits on. It's just that now she's in her 70s.
Coochie-coo.
Right, and James was sexually turned on by that idea. He thought that's he would have her no other way.
Well, I've been interested in myself and the evolution of what I find attractive, and the fact that, like, look, when you're 18, like a 50-year-old's kind of gross, right? But
I guess
now the older you get, not only is a 50-year-old not gross, my mother-in-law's like 68, and she's not really that gross either. And I see every once in a while there's like a Helen Mirren or like a Sophia Loren or someone that flashes across the screen that's like 74-ish, and you're like,
oh yeah, Helen Mirren's great, man. Helen Mirren is fantastic.
That's still a yes. So I have enjoyed seeing my Overton window of sexual affirmation expand in the age category immensely.
All right. Well, this is Charo today, and you find this sexually appealing?
Nope.
No.
Thought I did.
Okay.
Thought I did.
How about you, E? Thoughts on Charo?
Well, initially, I thought she was a Latina Phyllis Diller.
Okay. All right. So just a Latina. You thought she was like a Spanish comedian lady.
Yeah.
Oh,
something
coochie.
something like that, the hoochie coochie. With then a crossover to a Dolly Parton.
All right, what did she do? Was she a singer? Was she an actress? Was she a comedian? Was she an instrumentalist?
She was just a coochie coochie. The best I could tell, all she did was coochie coochie. She came on and kind of was like a girl that would, make funny jokes about her figure
That's
or
fine.
boobs.
Yeah, she spoke very little English. She was from Spain. She was a Spanish girl. Spoke very little English. She was trotted out on, variety shows of the 70s and all that kind of stuff. But here's the deal. Here is the deal. Charo is a world class and world renowned flamenco guitarist, and that's how she became famous. She started out in the 1960s as the soloist in this band, this guy named Xavier Cugat. You guys ever heard of Xavier Cugat? He was like a
I've heard of the name. I never knew.
He was like a cool ass fancy band leader guy, and he had this like 17-year-old girl who was hot, and she'd come out and she'd sit there and she'd play like the most amazing classical flamenco guitar. And then you want to hear something wild? Cugat was 66 years old. He married her.
How old was she?
Maybe that's why I remember the name.
How old was she?
She was 18. He was 66.
He's the Jerry Lee Lewis of.
But this is how we came. This is how we came to know her, because Xavier Cugat was like, friends with Johnny Carson and Bob Hope and all you running the circle, that shit. And she was the hot wife, and had shows where they didn't want to put any work into it. And well, you remember when Dean Martin would have like an hour on Thursday? Dean wasn't in a writer's room coming up with bits. He was just showing up and going with it. So if he could just put his friend Xavier's hot 19-year-old girlfriend on TV, he's like, come out! And that's how TV was back then. And that's how Charo became somebody that we all knew.
And wasn't that kind of what Phyllis Diller did?
No, Phyllis Diller's a legit comedian. Phyllis Diller is a legit comic who had to the hard way. She did the club, that stuff. Phyllis Diller, fantastic flamenco guitar player who is almost entirely that's Homer from her. All right, James.
You're getting choppy on me.
Yeah, you were breaking up on us just a little bit there. Yeah, I see where Leslie says the show's glitching again. It was just that little bit. But when you were explaining to Phyllis Diller, it's funny you bring up Phyllis Diller, because I saw today that she had posed for Playboy, and Playboy didn't run some of the nudes because they were too hot, and Phyllis had to approve everything that was ran, and she was concerned about not being seen as a funny person anymore if she was going to be turned into a sex pot. So they did put some pictures of her, but none of them were fully nude. And like there's this one where I don't know if she has a blanket or just a shirt or something that's over her otherwise unclothed upper area. And you know what? Phyllis Diller in like 1963 was really hot. Like a 9.
You have a picture?
I just saw it floating through on like a Reddit feed or something yesterday.
Let me direct your attention to the picture there. That is 19-year-old Charo with the 66-year-old Xavier Cugat creeping on her. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, or maybe there's a better picture, a bigger. Look at the happy couple.
Happily married.
Now, look, most of me is grossed out, but the minority, there's about 8, maybe 12% of me that it feels really happy for that guy. Like if something happened, yeah. Like I try and put myself in the situation, and something horrible happens to the love of my life, and Monique dies in a car wreck or gets cancer or whatever, and I'm a 66-year-old single guy, and if I can hook up with an 18-year-old that looks like that, be happy for me.
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't a Cugat sound like a rich, like just a thing Cugat? It sounds kind of like between a cougar and some kind of like
nougat
form of maybe a diamond.
Look at this picture here. This is romance. Doesn't it look like a granddad and his daughter at her college graduation or something?
Not look like true love. No, that does not look like two people that are truly in love.
Look, he looks truly.
It looks like kind of the Disney dude.
It does. It does.
Walt Disney.
He looks very much like Walt Disney there. Here's James. Prove me wrong. He looks very happy.
He should
He
be
should
very happy.
be very happy. Oh, there they are again. Look at her. She looks like she's She knows what's what. She's there.
She was Anna Nicole Smith about 40 years before Anna Nicole Smith pulled off the same grift.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a picture of the two of them together.
He looks a little sinister there.
Look at
A little
Oh my
cookie
God.
duster.
Look at this woman.
What's that say? Ibiza?
There's a
Yeah.
piece. Tell me she doesn't have. I mean, she's got some real. What's her name? Who's Shakira looks right here, right? That's a very.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say now I would say Shakira reminds me of Charo. Except
Shakira
she's
is
got
our
more
Charo.
than the guitar.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So yeah, so that's weird. Look at the weird couple. That's that. So that's how Charo became somebody that we all know, because, you know.
And now I'm interested in seeing Phyllis Diller.
Okay. Did you have a picture of Phyllis Diller? I see you got something low. What are we doing there?
Well, what we have here is the first entry in Charo or Your Mom, and this comes from
On the fly last night. James, you want to explain this to people of how you play Charo or Your Mom?
Yeah, so I mean, I know it sounds like sort of whimsical and lighthearted, but this is a very serious analytical breakdown of who we would like to bone more between Charo and your mother. And so if you could send us pictures of your mom, we'll take contemporary pictures 10 years ago when she was young. Whatever you got, we can read into it. We're professionals here. And so Barney,
Why's it got to be the mom?
because that's what makes it awesome. What it was.
What the fuck kind of question is that? Why do you think? Maybe what's compelled you to ask that question is the reason.
I'm good at blowing up the bits. I'm going to keep that.
Okay. So this is our first contestant, the hero for the bravery that it takes to be the first contestant on a game that has the gravity and seriousness of Charo or Your Mom. Barney Styles, give it up for Barney.
Should we look at Charo first? Should we look at Charo first?
Did you not tell who the mom is?
We just looked at Charo.
All right.
It's Barney's mom. Okay. So
Barney's mom.
We're gonna have 3 iterations. This is Barney's mom in her yearbook. So I'm gonna assume she's 18.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about her as if she is of legal age. Let's just go with that, because otherwise it's not any fun.
So we have one here. We have a picture of her in later adulthood, and then we have a contemporary picture of her in, the senior citizen condition that she's sporting now, which is still not too bad. But this is where we're going to start here. So as we're fleshing this bit out organically, Charo or Your Mom. Well, now this one I would take her before the Charo in contemporary terms, because what's Charo now, 72? I would take Barney's mom in her senior picture over Charo now. But would I take Barney's mom over Charo when she was the same age, when she was 18? And Pugs just showed us those pictures of when Charo was 18. And I am not so sure that's cut and dry. So what we have here is a toughie. Of course, we would do Barney's mom when she was taking her senior photos before we would do Charo now. But I don't know if I can say I would do Barney's mom before I would do Charo at the same age.
Yeah, see, that's good. First of all, though, James, congratulations, I think, are in order. Barney's got a mom that was hot in high school. Barney's mom was hot in high school. We can definitely go with that. You tell me that's a random picture of a Jacqueline Bisset in high school. Went on to be a big movie star. I go, yeah, okay, I could totally see that. So Barney's mom is beautiful. However, we also saw pictures of Charo at around this age, because remember, she married that creepy old man when she was only 19. I would still go with Charo at this age over her, even though no disrespect to mom. Mom's Texas hot, but Charo is international hot. She's global.
And that's amazing that you had the pictures right before this of Charo at 18, so we have the apples to apples comparison. Your thoughts on this first round?
I go with Barney's mom 110% hands down. At 18, if Charo's 18 and this photo is 18, I'm with Barney's mom.
All right. So what do you like about
the photo? I'm gonna say why Barney's mom wins in a photo finish. The picture of Charo with the creepy old Disney guy
Yeah.
versus this without a creepy person,
Yeah.
noses her in front right at the wire.
Okay, but here's a problem, and will you grant me this, because in this photo right here, we do not know what Barney's mom's body looks like, right? We know what Charo's body looks like. Charo's body.
Oh,
was
I entirely know. I can picture it based on
I go with Charo
features.
because I go with Charo. She's beautiful. Barney's mom's beautiful. All right, James, what else do we have? You and
Okay, so-
you and I are taking Charo, and E is taking Barney's mom.
Yeah, and look, I'll grant that it's super close here, but let's go to Barney's mom later in life. We're not going to go through the rest of the 20s and 30s or whatever. We're going to go to later adulthood, and in this one, still pretty damn good. Her hair is cut. You can tell she has gone into from the hot young thing to the MILF phase. Still doing a pretty good job, and although it's close, me casting first judgment here, I would take her, Barney's mom, at this phase over Charo now, but I still think I would take Charo at that age over Barney's mom at that age.
Well, we can agree that we'll take Charo at 18 over basically all of the incarnations of Barney's mom, right? Charo 18, except for E. He didn't like Charo 18. Wow, can I just say a little bit of Isabella Rossellini going on here? This is a beautiful woman. This is a classy lady. This is a sophisticated lady. I'm going with her. I'm going Barney's mom. Here comes Daddy. I'm having sex with Barney's mom over Charo. Yeah, E.
E.
I really need to see the photo of Charo at this age side by side.
Good point.
If possible.
So I'm guessing this is age 40 to 45.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's
Charo at
do-
age 40 to 45 would be around 30 years ago. So if we can find
I mean,
Charo
I
in
think-
the 90s.
Yes, 90s.
And the reason I'm saying I need to see it is because I am confused at James's how he's on Charo. I think clearly the gap has gotten at least 5 or 10 lengths better. Barney's mom. I think she's now stretched.
Well,
the
I'll tell you
lead.
why. Look, I think you're thinking too much of Charo now versus Charo at 18. And the spectrum, Charo at 18 beats this. It's hard to argue with that. However, I have a
How is
hard
it
time.
fair to compare 18 to that?
Right. Not fair. Not fair. Exactly. So Charo in the 90s. Oh, Barney's
That's
mom
Charo
had-
in the 90s.
All right.
That's
So Barney's
Charo
mom
from the
had-
90s.
Look, here's the deal, and this is gonna be a hindrance in this bit going forward, is we don't get to see Barney's mom's full body. So if
Right.
Barney's mom has a body that's close to that, just based on face, I'm gonna go with Barney's mom. I would smash Barney's mom first.
Really? Barney's mom in her 40s over Charo in her 40s. James, I think I'm with you. We're going to pull a train on your mom. E?
Yikes. But I'm agreeing. I said early, Barney's mom was in a tight one, and then Barney's mom has stretched the lead, I think, as she's gotten older.
Well, this is tough though, because Charo still kept the long hair. Charo got the boob implants. Charo is dressed in a teeny tiny dress, really short dress. It's got sequins and got all the skin showing. And Barney's mom's at home slogging it out, raising a handful of kids. And still, I think, I don't know, man.
And looking elegant.
Now,
Woo! Barney's mom. Look at her
now
right
if we're
Do you know who Isabella Rossellini is? Do you guys know who that is? That's who she looks like. Go ahead, E.
well, what I'm saying is, so now when you're in the photo, when you're in that photo finish, like looks, well, then you got to go into the grab bag of like, okay, what other talents do they possess beyond looks? And I don't know then if that starts even getting worse, that comes into the play to get to the lead. Like if you're evaluating, okay, would I rather do this one or this one that has an attitude that's willing to do it, and one that has an attitude that's not so willing to do it,
Bro, I thought you were talking about their
DTF.
talents, like their ability to play flamenco guitar. Like, how did you out dirtbag me?
No.
Okay. We have one more iteration of Barney's mom, and this is in the contemporary current day version of Barney's mom.
Dirtbaggy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Modern day Barney's mom.
Modern day's Barney's mom. Okay. Now, I'm switching. I would go Charo.
You're gonna go
in current
Charo
day
now?
over Barney's mom in current day. Barney's mom got me at age 18. Barney's mom got me at age 40. Barney's mom now, it's not like Charo's running away with it, but I am leaning. The needle is leaning toward Charo.
I'm very pleased that I can now accurately evaluate Barney's mom's breasts. This is the first time that we've gotten to see what she's been working with the whole time. So that informs me that I think some of my earlier decisions where I went with Barney's mom were smart and true decisions. I think she's a lovely woman. Charo at this old age. I don't know. Charles. I don't know. James, I'm going to go with Charo. I think Charo. E, who are you going with? Charo or Barney's mom?
Here, I've had the same issue with the image, except here it's in reverse. The thing that throws me off here is not because there's no creepy guy in the back. It's the necklace.
What's wrong with the necklace?
It feels to me like she now has maybe gotten into crystals.
Well, it just means she's fun. It just means she's open-minded. Look at those breasts. She's got fat. Barney's mom has wonderful breasts.
Yeah, but it feels like a very much like a beads and sandals kind of like earthy.
She runs a new age bookshop somewhere,
something like that. Yeah, and that kind of feels like it's went way left of the tracks that she was on earlier.
Her and her female best friend of 30 years have been living together quietly.
Something's off with this picture. I don't know. So I'm gonna swing back to Charo after two what I called easy victory in the middle. It's shocking that she went to the lead and then I've fallen back.
Well, I think it's fame. I think when you get older, it's easier to stay young if you have some fame because you've got, you got the good doctors and the hair. Barney's mom is going to the girl on the corner. You know what I mean? I mean, it's easier to fake
she's
it.
Also not getting a lift and a tuck and a lipo stuff and an all things and yeah.
See, and if we were to just do the photo below the necklace, I think Barney's mom runs away with it again. It's that necklace area that's just giving me some pause.
I am not bothered by that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode 1 of Charo or Your Mom. How did we come down, James? Did we have a final score? Do we know Barney's mom was the mom of choice today? How did she do? What's the final score?
All right, we had 3 votes on 3 different iterations of Charo or Barney's mom, and out of the 9 votes, I believe Barney's mom won 5 of them.
I think so too. Yeah, I think she won. I think Barney, you can go home and tell your mom that she won the first. And if you'd like to send us James, how do they send them to you? How do they send pictures to you?
Barney just found me on Facebook and sent me a Facebook instant messenger pictures of his mom.
We're not that hard to find. You can find me, Pugs Moran, Facebook and Twitter. E, how about you?
Who?
Okay. James, what else? You got anything else you want to talk about? There's some fun that happened.
I would like to learn more about the lady we were all just lusting for. Barney says in the middle pic she was a young divorcee in the sales department of KICM Country.
Oh, she was doing radio sales back in the wild 80s, man.
Of course.
Ooh, I bet she did Ron Chapman. Just saying, Barney. Hot woman like
That's how you knew the good-looking girls when they'd come in the door at my dad's marina. They would come in and they'd be carrying a briefcase. And right away, when I was younger, I was like, media sales girl.
Oh, yeah.
Sure enough, that's what it was.
Sales and media sales. Because pharmaceutical sales have to get see doctors, and doctors don't mess around unless you're hot. So that's why the pharmaceutical sales.
Well, they got to pass the troll at the front desk,
Right.
though. There's basically that person set up there that's screener.
Yeah.
And so that's why they walk in with a box of donuts. They drop those off. Oh, let me feed you. And then you sneak your way through to the back.
Look who I'm talking to. A guy who ran numerous medical clinics and medical. You are probably medical sales rep. You and James and I know the radio sales end of it. James, got something?
Yeah, so KICM is a radio station in Ardmore, Oklahoma. So not a powerhouse market, but not too far from where we're at right now. It's just a couple hours north.
There are pretty girls in Ardmore, though.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can speak to one I know of.
God, there are pretty girls all over Texas and Oklahoma. Everywhere.
Right, but Ardmore is a very small town, like hugely small.
Where do you think that came from? You know what I mean? Where do you think Farrah Fawcett came from? They're not coming from New York or Boston. Half these chicks, get on a bus and from the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's we got beautiful women everywhere, but Texas and Oklahoma, man. Just look at porn. Everybody in porn is from Texas or Oklahoma.
Yeah, so y'all know Anna Nicole Smith was from a place that's about halfway between me and you right now. Mahia. Yeah. Are you glitching?
No. No. All right, we got more because I got stuff I want to talk about here.
Yeah. Well, Leslie says she submitted her mom, but I don't see it in my messages. Did one of y'all get it? She had mentioned it in the comments. Leslie, can you point out where you sent it? And I would love to evaluate your mom right in front of your face.
What are you doing?
I need to find a picture. We can't submit our own. We can't submit our own moms.
Yes, you can. I would be happy to evaluate your mom right in front of you, Emil. I would love to do that.
Well, if you want to evaluate more moms, we've got more moms. We can evaluate Byron's mom. Byron sent a picture of his mom in yesterday.
He did?
We can do that.
Let's do that.
There every day. Lords of the that's what I'd call. And he was the first guy in. As a matter of fact, when you loaded up a picture, I thought maybe that was Byron's mom. Turned out to be Barney's. Now we're going to do 2. All right, round 2 of, what's the name of the game, James?
Charo or your mom.
Holy cow.
I think it's 2 R's.
Nah, I Googled it. I was wrong earlier.
Oh, really?
Whoa, dude, this is just like, holy cow. All right, sort of on the same subject, because we're talking about old women holding together well, right? Is that what we're talking about? Kinda. Dude, check this out. This picture's trending right now. Picture of Elizabeth. Right, the beautiful Elizabeth. Apparently, where is it? Nope. There. Okay, I can't share anything. It's not showing. Check this out. Turn it on. Yeah. Nope. Yeah. There we go. Look at that.
All right.
That is 57-year-old Elizabeth Hurley.
She's 57 in this picture.
How's Barney's mom? She's 50. Yeah, she took it today. I guess it's her birthday or something. That's what the story is. Page 6. Elizabeth Hurley takes 57th birthday picture. Look at that.
Okay. And who are we entering against that?
Barney's mom. Barney's mom must now compete against. Sorry, Barney's mom. That's it's all. I'm gonna go ahead and speak for my co-hosts and say that it's all Elizabeth Hurley versus Barney's mom. Yes.
All right.
Well, I mean, just the pictures alone make it tough to.
And also, you know, Elizabeth Hurley, you go back to 1992. I mean, she's one of the all-timers. There's when she was at her peak, at her zenith, it was like
Austin Powers.
she was an all-timer. Oh, yeah, Austin Powers. Yeah, before that, dazzled and stuff. Just she's an all-timer. She is just an all. And Hugh Grant paid for a crackhead on the side of the road when that was waiting for him just 3 miles away. He was waiting for him, and he got with a crackhead. What the, I will never understand, James.
Oh, yes, you will.
Explain it to me. Explain it to me how you have Elizabeth Hurley, and by the way, we're not talking about 7-year-old. We're talking about 7-year-old Elizabeth. We got 27-year-old Elizabeth Hurley Forrest just 3 miles away, and you stop because there's a crackhead prostitute, and you're like, I'm Hugh Grant. I'm going to get me. You explain that decision to me, E, because it's never made sense.
So what we have is a 10 in the female world.
10 plus.
And we have a
because that's
10,
how high it goes.
Right, and we have a 10 in the male world. Okay, women were just all over Hugh Grant, right?
Yeah, let's not call it. He was not. Hugh Grant was not the male equivalent of what she was, the female. Hugh Grant's maybe a 7.5 and an 8. Nah, dude, women.
No doubt, he's over his skis. But I'm saying
guy.
The way that females were lusting over Hugh Grant back then, he was this guy that was just so hot. He was, George Clooney-esque. And so like people were like, oh, Hugh Grant. And so you got a 10 like that and a 10 like that, but the 10 that's the guy really knows he's not the equivalent of 10 that's a girl, and so she's getting more attention than him, and he's having to have his ego kind of crushed, so then he has to go out and do something sleazy and dirty to make him feel like he's getting one over on her.
Okay.
And that's why he gets drug into that.
You deserve to be with a guy who secretly does this. Yeah, it was like
exactly.
It was like a mental self-loathing exercise.
Exactly.
James, okay, I can totally get that. James?
No, he's wrong. Elizabeth Hurley's way hotter than his. Yeah, dude, it's stupid. I don't get it at all. No, he's wrong.
I love the breakdown that he did, but but ultimately I'd be like, wait a second, she's gross. Divine Brown was gross. I interviewed Divine. I did all the radio interviews. She was gross, and Elizabeth Hurley was not. I mean, and she was.
Well, why go there?
I don't. Because there is a problem. Because he has a problem. There is something. He's a sexual
sex addict.
I don't know. I wouldn't say a sex addict because I don't believe sex addiction is a real thing. He is a sexual deviant. I think sexual deviancy is a real thing. I don't think sex addiction is. Sexual deviancy, absolutely. And I don't know what his deal is, what his peccadillos are, but we got to see at least one page from his little sex handbook. One of the things he's into.
There's some people that it's been my observation because they don't talk about this in the same way, like when I'm hanging out with me and you and Emil, when we're all hanging out, people don't talk about it the way we talk about it. And I think we're so right. And I just wish I would hear it in the media somewhere where, you would explain to some of these people, there's folks out there that never get enough sex. Like you and I and the guy listening has sex and we're like, oh, that was great. I feel so much better. But there are people who it's like the heroin users. They always got to be chasing the next thing. And so these are these people who end up in a sex club or in a dungeon or with a ball gag and a gimp suit. And, like I kind of cringe at people who complain about, they only like vanilla sex. It's like, well, maybe if vanilla sex isn't getting you off, you're doing it wrong. I'm sorry, I don't need to get my foot caught in a bear trap in order to have an intense orgasm. But like, I think there's people who are constantly chasing the biggest, nextest, most disgusting, perverted, to them it's titillating thing, and they never find it. But you end up in the backseat with Divine Brown, even though you could go home to Elizabeth Hurley, and that speaks to what a huge mental illness it is.
It also speaks to when it's that easy. And he brought up that, it's pretty easy for Hugh Grant to get pretty much whatever he wanted. Around about that time in the 1990s, he could walk into any bar. At the worst scenario, he's there with the hottest bartender, right? He was Hugh Grant. He never had to sleep alone if he didn't want to. When it gets that easy, and I've heard people say this, there was a conversation about John Lennon, why John Lennon fell in love with. Well, because John Lennon had absolutely anybody in the world that he wanted for whatever it was. And when he fell in love with Yoko Ono, it was for completely different reasons than, physical attraction or all that kind of thing. When you can just have sex and it's easy to have sex, you have to keep heightening the bar. The bar is clear to get satisfaction, and that's where you get into these risky kind of things. He could have sex with any waitress he wants in the bathroom of any bar on any corner in America. He's Hugh Grant.
And that kind of takes the fun out of it, doesn't it? Because they're not even sleeping with you. They're sleeping with this public persona, this avatar they think you are.
And it's too easy. It's too easy. It's forgettable. But risky sex with a prostitute that you could your entire career. Oh, now that's hot, right? That's now sexy. Yeah. So I think that plays a part.
Go E.
Easy.
Oh no, I saw you guys all locked up, and I was seeing if I was still locked up.
You're good.
Oh, I didn't realize we were locked up. No problem. All right, what else we got today? Anything else, James, while you play with your gun?
Yeah, I know. Didn't you have Byron?
Yeah, like this. Why is the gun going on and off screen? And like, what's going on?
The show needed a little more right-wing flavor, and I applaud this. I think that an introduction to firearm.
So it's funny that you got a gun for your birthday. I'm trying to figure out, in my mind tonight when I went to dinner, what is the right amount of guns for a house? Is it based on the amount of people that live at the house? Is it based on the value of the house? How many guns should one have in a house?
Well, I don't think it's house specific. I think it's person specific. So if you're a guy that thinks guns are the way to go, you got to have a gun for whatever your hobbies are. So if you like to go snipe stuff very long distance, like Ben Affleck in The Accountant or whatever, and that's funny, you're going to have a big old dumb sniper rifle or hunting rifle that you're going to go shoot long distance crap with. If you go duck hunting, you're going to need a shotgun. If you go deer hunting, you're going to need a 30-06 or an AR or something around that. If you're just going to carry a gun around in your coat because you walk in the hellish neighborhoods of New Orleans and you need something teeny tiny and small but compact so it conceals, and you don't have to be very accurate with it because everything's going to be close range, and you get something like this. If you want, there's guns even smaller than this. So if you're not wearing a coat and it's summertime and you only have teeny tiny pockets, I have like a little 22 that's about this big, and it's just a little handheld.
So I think I'm up to 4 right now.
Well, you don't even need all those. I don't know. Do you go?
Well, I'm just saying. What do you think? What do you think somebody should have? Somebody who's obviously right for the right to bear arms. How many is enough, and when does it become excessive?
Oh, well, it never really becomes excessive if you can afford it. Like, what's the
so
harm
you think that having more than 5 guns, more than 10 guns, more than 100 guns, is that excessive? Per one person having more than 100 guns, is that excessive?
Not really. I know a guy has more than 100.
You wouldn't be willing to? Would you be willing if they said, "Hey, we're going to limit gun laws"? Would you be willing to say everybody with more than 100 goes away?
No. No.
Wow.
This ain't the show for gun law talk. This
Yeah.
is not what we do
Well, but I'm
here.
just curious. I'm just curious, like, at what point? I get it that I think I should be able to have a gun and bear a gun, but do you then accept that and go, at
Thank you,
some
Lacey.
point, does it become excessive?
Well, I mean, excessive is such a
Lacey!
subjective term.
Lacey's here!
Yeah.
I'm just trying to change the subject.
Why? I'm not
Because this-
anti-gun. I'm just
No, I
asking
know.
at what
But
point.
This is a conversation. I don't think the conversations we need anymore. I think that enough of us stated the way we feel about certain things. And look at James, James is like, la, 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 la. Guess what side he's on? And I don't know. I just think, just don't want
I'm
I
not
just
talking
don't
about
want to
caliber guns. I'm not talking about style of guns.
The gun
I'm just
conversation
asking a
in general.
number.
I don't like it. I don't like the gun conversation in general. It's not fun.
I
not
love
fun.
it because I'm interested in people that come from the culture that's different that are flabbergasted. Like, what? There's no limit.
It's-
That you think people should
It's
have
too
guns?
serious. It's too serious
but-
a subject. I don't want to be
But
serious.
a guy that has 10 guns, the guy that has 100 guns is no more dangerous than the guy with 10 guns. So what does that even matter? It's not like he
I'm not
has.
talking about dangerous. I just wondered if there's ever a point like if I said
No.
to you, James,
No, I've never
I
been
have
interested
1,000
in-
pairs of sunglasses.
Cool.
Would you think that was excessive?
I don't know. Maybe you own a sunglass shop. I don't know.
That's a great question, E. No, James, be serious. Answer the question. Would you think 1,000 pairs of sunglasses are a bit excessive? Would you think that?
1,000. Yes, 1,000.
Okay, there we go. So, would you think 1,000 guns a little excessive?
Yeah, but that's not the question he asked. He's
Yes,
asking-
Yes, it is.
No, no,
yes,
no,
it
no.
is.
Listen.
You do
No,
have a limit.
No, because he was asking. He was asking in the context, like, is there any law? Is there any regulation where it's excessive? And the answer to that is no.
There's-
Like, I don't think there should ever be a law that says you can't have 1,000 pairs of sunglasses. Yes, it's excessive. It's probably a bad financial decision to have more than 1,000 pairs of sunglasses. But hell no, it shouldn't be illegal. And hell no, that's not the basis to take away his right to own as many sunglasses as he wants, because he's not hurting anybody.
Well, okay.
Sunglasses
But,
are not hurting anybody. You're
yeah,
right.
but now we're going to go to the opposite of what you just said.
No, we're not. No, we're not. We're gonna move on. I respect everyone's opinion. Twirl that gun. All right.
I do too. I'm not trying to say anything. I just wonder
I
if
don't want to have. I don't like
there's
these
just
guys.
ever a point
Perfect.
where it's excessive. There, I know that we thought, what was it, Manelda Marcos, that
Imelda
2,000 pairs of shoes were
Right, but
excessive.
hang on. But these
Crazy
are loaded
lady
terms you're
shoes.
using. But as dumb as it is to have 1,000 pairs of shoes, I do not think there should ever be a gun or some legislative limit on the someone's ability to acquire shoes if they want.
Okay, but he did. But he did originally. He didn't say that originally. He originally said, "Would you find that excessive?" And that's why we stuck with that. Like, do you find? We're not talking about legislating. Do you find a dude
I'm not
with a
talking about
100
anything. I'm just, is there any point that you find a number of guns excessive? That's all.
Yeah, and not legislate, just personally. Like, that's a little much.
Listen,
How is that?
I can't answer.
He's got a
No.
dump truck
Listen.
filled with guns that he's never going to use, and you won't take the position. That's a bit excessive.
I bought this gun from a gun store that is owned by a personal friend. He owns thousands of guns.
Well, he's a
But he
dealer.
sells them.
I know,
dealer.
but are you?
I'm asking a guy that's a normal guy that's not a gun dealer, that's
normal
just
guy.
there on the street. You go into his house and he opens up his door and he's like, "Hey, James, I'm ready if they ever come over here." And you find 1,000 guns in there. Do you think the guy might have overloaded his cabinet with guns?
Yeah, he might have. And that's why we're not going to talk about them. That's what my bumper sticker says. Guns are fun until they're not. And that is probably the truest statement anyone could make on the whole gun debacle. James, I was going to talk. I wanted to talk about a story I covered that was trending today. There's a night manager at the Hilton in downtown Nashville who was sneaking into rooms at night and sucking the toes of people sleeping. We didn't have time for that. We got another guy. We got Bob Huggins. You know Bob Huggins, legendary Cincinnati basketball coach, West Virginia coach. Bob Huggins is apologizing because he went on a rate. We got to hear this. Come on, can we at least do the Bob Huggins bit? you got to hear this. You know who Bob Huggins is.
Right? Why are we ending the show? We don't have to end.
Well, it's 10:02 and we like to get out. So Bob Huggins, it sounded like he'd had a couple of beers, calling his buddies on the radio, some local West Virginia. He's been at West Virginia forever. You know, these are his good old boys. All right, we got Coach Bob Huggins on the phone. Coach, what you doing? Hey, boys, I'm just having a couple of beers. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of good old boy thing. He was way too comfortable for this interview. And during the course of this interview, he starts talking about his days at Cincinnati and the rivalry that Cincinnati had with Xavier. Now, Xavier is a Catholic university. Oh, Bob Huggins started talking about Xavier, and he called them Catholic fags like 3 times. Just on the radio. These Catholic fags, they come up. Yeah. So Bob Huggins, he's apologizing like the cuck that he is because he's bowing down to the big tit of corporate whatever, NCAA. He's apologizing. He's begging for his life. But I want you to hear it because this one is really funny. Unlike the man we heard yesterday, Glenn Kuiper of the Oakland A's, unlike him, who it was just he misspoke, I think that Bob Huggins completely meant to say this. He just, he thought he was sitting around his backyard having a couple of beers with buddies. So let's give this a listen. If you just got a second here, this is Bob Huggins from earlier today, where he is appearing on, what's the name of this show? Bum, bum, bum. Here we go. This comes to us from Awful Announcing. I love Awful Announcing. I've been using Awful Announcing for... James, how many years we in radio been using Awful Announcing as a site?
6.
He hasn't.
I don't know.
Okay. Hold on. We gotta wait. We gotta wait because this is what. Okay, we're gonna get rid of. God, I can't get. Oh my God, I can't get past this Elizabeth Berg. What's her name? Elizabeth what?
Hurley?
Yes. All right, here you go. It's Bob Huggins on some radio show, being real comfortable. Let's go. Hear it?
No.
No. Just the
No, you're
here. Now it's.
you're glitchy, Pugs.
Mm-hmm.
Chat room
Yeah,
says
this
he
is an
needs to update his drivers.
It's only when I share things, and it's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So here, let's see if we can hear this.
Hello.
Bob Huggins, you're on the air. I'm sitting here with Steve Muller in the Segman.
What would make you think I wanted to talk to you?
Hey, Coach. Now we're telling a fucking story. Tony is not being a trustworthy person. Would you want to revise and extend those remarks?
Slowly.
Hey, Hubbs, I thought it was misunderstood.
It must have been my thoughts at the time.
Steve also tells me that you have the best portal transfers. Have you played for West Virginia?
Catholics don't do that.
No, we're above the fracas, aren't we? No problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I tell you what, any school that can throw rubber pieces on the floor, my God, they can get away with anything.
Nobody hear anything. I don't know what's, I got a problem. There's a problem with that. I don't know what the hell's going on here. But it's making it very difficult to keep doing shows. All right, that's it.
I mean, it doesn't make sense because there's less people on that internet. I think it's got to be your computer.
I don't know. All right, let's end this show because that really pisses me off.
Well, you want to send me the link and I'll play it off my computer?
No, I want to end the show. We're good. It's over. It's over. This has been happening for like a week. Well, it's very difficult.
I heard it's your drivers on your computer. Talk to Ed.
Did you? You heard that? Okay.
From the chat room.
I know.
The chat room bails us out. Have you been denying some updates? Like, have you not been updating your software when it tells you to update?
E. Don't point the gun at.
Oh my God! Look at that. This guy.
There you go. That's how you handle that. You just turn him off. There he goes. All right, that's gonna do it. We'll see you tomorrow at noon with the shitty internet connection. I'll try and figure out. Boy, I'll tell you. You download a couple of Russian porno films. No, I'm kidding. This computer doesn't get used for anything other than this show. All right. See you tomorrow at noon. Appreciate you. Love you all. Have a great one. Bye.